Many years ago, a child was born in a faraway foreign land of evil known as Chicago, USA. In a deep slumber for almost 31 years, in 2012 that child, now a man, woke from that slumber to find himself a new individual. After slaying the evil found in that land over and over, that new individual set his sights on a new journey in a new land. That land was the Appalachian Mountain Range. After venturing into that world and rescuing the viewing public from some of the most boring hiking YouTubers that could be found on this planet, that hero suffered a horrible defeat in 2017. Everything was lost. The defeat at the hands of the evil trolls roaming the barren land was horrendous. But the world knew it could still only count on one man, one hero. That hero has been resurrected and once again charged with the task of entertaining the masses. At first he did not want the task, as he felt defeated and weary after years of fighting. However, that hero has returned with vengeance on his mind. That hero is Teardrop, and this is the legend of Teardrop. All jokes aside, in 2012, J.B. Gunner moved from Indianapolis to Florida. During that move, he saw a burning of an area of trees, and that moment changed his life forever. Once arriving in Florida, his first move was to volunteer for the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. This was a change of the way of life for J.B. Gunner, as he was born in Chicago, Illinois, without a love for the natural world. Now, he was busy collecting samples of red tide off of the Gulf of Mexico. Despite being raised in a gang culture, selling drugs in his youth, and years of getting in trouble, a change was coming over J.B. Gunner. Then came the election of 2012, where the Liberals were able to secure yet another victory. A documentary watched the evening following the election changed J.B. Gunner forever, as he began to make his full conversion into the conservative strongman that he is today. What does any of that have to do with hiking? Well, with a new outlook on life and a new location, J.B. Gunner began to look into things that he had never looked into before. He was researching wildlife and videos on the internet, and he came across a video entitled Surviving the Appalachian Trail. From that moment on, he was hooked. He then watched his first through hike from Tuts, and then the epic journey from Jeffrey Gray, known to the hiking community as Loner. That video series from Loner, a friend of Teardrop currently, was the series that made J.B. Gunner want to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. The conservative change that we spoke of earlier is what allowed it to become a reality, a real possibility. That change in mind frame led to J.B. Gunner disposing of a few of his ghetto mentalities and all stereotypical opinions about the woods, the South, and even financial matters. J.B. Gunner began taking the steps needed to become financially independent and successful. He knew that would be the only way he would be able to escape for 6 months into the woods. In 2013, J.B. Gunner entered the online hiking community and immediately was faced with hatred. Some people did not want someone from the urban society, much less with the confidence of J.B. Gunner, on the trails. They did not want someone that took so much pride in entertainment, former radio show host and YouTuber, of course, in their backwoods. They didn't want that. Then, there was the political aspect, as a good portion of the community, well, they leaned left. J.B. Gunner was a very outspoken voice, whom was very vocal about politics, his past, and how he viewed the world. Those online hikers continued to find joy in trolling J.B. Gunner and became a subject of his Feeding the Trolls series. The fire was being fueled on both sides. Regardless, in 2013, the first announcement was made. J.B. Gunner was going to hike that legendary Appalachian Trail. The quest for the Triple Crown was scheduled to begin that year. The hunger had been formed. Well, twice in that same year, J.B. Gunner had to reschedule and eventually postpone his through hike attempt. That was probably best for him, as he was able to research the trail more and get more ready for the trail. Before he was able to get on the trail, however, tragedy happened for Teardrop. In 2014, his dog, whom was 18 years old, passed away, and his marriage even fell apart. This sent Teardrop out on his own in a very vulnerable situation. That was actually, though, what was needed to push him to finally get to the Appalachian Trail. The problem is that it was December 18, 2014, right in the middle of winter. So for the first time ever, J.B. Gunner slept outside, after never even camping for his first 34 years of life. He left the trail on New Year's Eve, however, and headed for the Florida Trail in January of 2015. He returned to the Appalachian Trail in February of 2015. As you can see, JB Gunner was a train wreck waiting to happen. He couldn't get things right and consistently was failing at his quests. So as you can see, being new to the wild, this world was something he simply was never adequately prepared for. September of 2015, JB Gunner returned and got the name Teardrop. That name was his first real trail name ever given to him by another hiker. So with all these attempts, Teardrop looked better than he had ever looked, and he looked like he was finally going to make some real progress. However, he left the trail again though, and even returned to the Florida Trail. His intentions were to return to the trail in January of 2016. This was exactly what he did. He returned to the trail in January of 2016 and ended up moving to Georgia in June of 2016. Teardrop had been so inconsistent, the haters and trolls had felt like they had won. He lived in so many states during this time, including Las Vegas, Nevada twice. Hell, he even lived in Colorado and saw the Rockies. But now he lived on the Appalachian Trail in such as Georgia. He then went on to get a cabin in Blairsville and of course reunite with the wife. Now everything looked like it was coming in order. It was coming into place. March of 2017 was his next attempt. Sadly, Teardrop left in Hot Springs, North Carolina. He was well prepared and thought he was going to go all the way this year. In fact, he returned to the trail later in July and finished hiking all the way to Marion, Virginia. However, during that time, all of his previous work from the internet, that's about 2,700 videos, was lost as the trolls seemed to have won. They had gotten Teardrop taken down. Teardrop was gone from the internet. See, that's where they were wrong. A loophole in the system has brought Teardrop back to the internet. That is where this channel comes in. The trolls alone are the ones that have made Teardrop's name so big in this hiking community. Teardrop has to be the most famous person on the AT that's never even hiked the entire trail. The trolls are literally making Teardrop a legend, and once he achieves his quest to hike the Triple Crown, it can be guaranteed that it will be in front of a bigger audience than this rookie to hiking ever deserved to begin with. The legend of Teardrop has changed the world of internet hiking community forever, and has given the trolls and haters a reason to wake up every morning. So of course, being the humanitarian that Teardrop is, he doesn't want them to stop waking up, so he promises to continue his work. He has returned to breathe life into the trolls and save the internet world from the boring hiking internet community itself. Teardrop will return to the Appalachian Trail. Teardrop will hike the Triple Crown, and he simply will not stop until his quest is achieved. With more experience now than most people on the Appalachian Trail, the future is bright for Teardrop as he pushes towards his goal, his legend, his name. So without further ado, you're welcome, people. You're welcome. Salvation has come, and you are now able to be entertained again. Welcome to the legend of Teardrop, the quest for the Triple Crown. With over 1,000 miles hiked, the game is motherfucking on. Hold my beer. Let's do this. New to the wild.